Roger Stone. Hey, Roger, welcome.
Great to be here.
Roger, first and foremost, you are being called right now an instigator, someone that is making it impossible for people to vote in your Stop the Steal exercise. Your response, Roger, to those charges?
Well, there are 6 pending lawsuits. 2 of them have been adjudicated. This lawsuit against Donald Trump and I and the Republican National Committee, the Trump for President Committee, and my Stop the Steal Committee was dismissed by a federal judge in Arizona who found no evidence that we planned to intimidate voters. It was also an adverse decision that would have stayed our execution of exit polls at certain selected polling places, was also reversed on appeal in Ohio. So we are 2 for 6 in court in Nevada and Pennsylvania today, probably in Michigan later today. I expect to prevail in all these actions. I mean, Fernando, you know the difference between poll watching and exit polling. How can you intimidate voters by reading them a neutral script after the time that they have voted, particularly when you're not even identifying yourself as a partisan? So it's an absurd argument. No, we do not have bands of thugs going to the polls to intimidate voters. This is all rhetoric. This is all press release purpose. But our exit poll, the purpose of which is to compare to the actual machine results in certain key precincts, is moving forward.
Roger, all of the polls right now conclusively suggest that not only is your candidate going to lose, he's going to lose by maybe not a landslide, but he's going to lose comfortably, especially in the Electoral College. Do you continue to believe that the polls are not capturing the quote-unquote shy Trump voter and that we're actually going to see Donald Trump shock the political world tomorrow and become president?
Well, it isn't over till it's over. I tend to believe this late in the race that the direction of the polls is more important than the final totals. Directionally, this race has been moving towards Trump now for a good solid week, and I think that continues. So it's not over till the fat lady sings. Let's wait for her to sing.
Well, did she sing last night, Roger, when James Comey released the letter, which basically said cleared her of charges? I mean, we always like to say a lot of these investigations, as much as the Republicans have had a bloodlust for trying to bring down Hillary and Bill Clinton, they've always ended up with this result, Roger.
You got nothing in court. You don't got the bookkeeper. You got nothing. Nothing. And if you were a man, you would have done it now. You don't got a thing.
They don't seem to ever have a thing that sticks, Roger. Do you think that was a relief for her campaign and a negative thing for your side?
Again, not over till it's over. The bad news is for Mr. Comey is that the New York Police Department has all 650,000 emails. They've also reviewed them, and they say there's evidence of multiple crimes. I'll bet you a Paglia Mia steak she's indicted within a year. Within a year. President or no president.
All right.
I think this one is indelible, you see, because in the past, the only ones with the records was the Justice Department and the FBI, and therefore a cover-up was possible. I don't think that will be possible here. And actually, folks I know, sources that I know who have seen these records tell me that it's pretty open and shut. So Mr. Comey has proved to be a political animal. His actions are not surprising. He gave them a pass in the Sandy Berger affair. He gave him the pass in the Mark Rich affair. He, too, is political. But I think we may be in a Nixon-type situation where even if she does prevail by a healthy margin or a narrow margin, she could be gone in 18 months. This just doesn't go away. The country won't be healed. There will be no honeymoon. And there is disagreement among law enforcement professionals as to what this latest trove of documents really means.
We're talking to Trump insider Roger Stone. Roger, can you stick around? A lot of folks want to talk to you when we come back in just a couple minutes.
Sure.
All right, we're going to come back with Roger Stone in just a couple minutes. 866-610-6397 is the number. We're also going to ask Roger about the concession. Will it come tomorrow if Donald Trump loses? Don't go anywhere. You're going to want to hear Roger Stone's answer to that when we come back on News Radio 610 WIOD. Fernando Monti back on News Radio 610 WIOD talking to the ultimate Donald Trump insider, the man himself, Roger Stone. And Roger, here's the big question. Everybody in America and the world wants to know. If the polls hold, and yes, you're right, Roger, not over till it's over, but if the polls hold and Donald Trump loses Florida, loses North Carolina, clearly is not going to get to 270, will he concede this election tomorrow night?
It will depend on whether there is widespread and admissible evidence of voter fraud or voter machine manipulation. If there is not, then the answer is yes. And if there is, well, only Donald Trump knows what Donald Trump will do in that instance.
But, Roger, even you would admit, I mean, there's been massive early voting going, not in all 50 states, but in a lot of states throughout the country. No sign whatsoever yet as of systematic, massive, system-wide early voting fraud. Why would it happen tomorrow?
You must be reading a different media than I am. There were 30 different stories yesterday on voter irregularities around the country.
Give us the most egregious example, then, of the one you think is evidence of that, Roger.
Texas, where they actually had to go to court and in some cases argue for coming off the machines to paper ballots. You've had complaints of machine malfunctions where you would vote for Donald Trump, but your vote would be tabulated for Hillary Clinton. There's an excellent woman activist down there, Laura Presley. Be happy to get her on your show as a guest. She's quite articulate. I had her on my show yesterday, and or Saturday, and she outlined it pretty heavily.
We welcome all points of view. Send her our way, Roger. All right, let's go to the phones. You got James on the line. James, you're on with Roger Stone.
Hey, hello. Good morning, Fernand. Good morning, Mr. Stone. Fernand, I wanted to make three quick points. One of them is the lady that called and talked about CNN asking the DNC, CNN asking the DNC for questions to ask Trump. It had nothing to do with Donna Brazile. What Donna Brazile did was give Hillary's campaign the questions for the debate. This is something else that just came out hours ago, where CNN was asking the DNC for questions to ask Donald Trump ahead of his foreign policy address and an interview with Wolf Blitzer. Okay,
but James, hold on one second. James. That it is a common practice. It is a common practice for networks to ask both sides. Hey, what is a question you think we should ask your opponent? They don't necessarily a favoritism, and Roger will tell you this. Roger's an old pro. He knows that sometimes the best questions are what the opposition wants to ask of the other side. There's not anything wrong or above board with that, under board with that, James.
Well, if you know this, then why didn't you?
If I may, of course, it would depend on if the same producers asked Donald what question, or Donald's camp what questions they would like asked of Hillary. And, of course, we don't know the answer to that.
James, your next point. Hurry, because a lot of folks want to talk to Roger.
Point number two is that, this guy, James Comey, came out and said the FBI is closing the investigation with regards to the emails. But remember, there's another investigation, and there's a rumor, or at least I've heard in the media, that 5 FBI offices are investigating Hillary Clinton's foundation for the corruption scandal. So that investigation is not over. Even leader of Congress have said not over.
Well, James, as Roger says, we will see. He says she won't last 18 months. But, Roger, you also said that she wasn't going to make it through all 3 debates, and she seems to have done so. We'll see. That's where time will be the teller. Thanks for the phone call, James. Let's go to Sam. Sam, you're on with Roger Stone.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Amandi. My point. Okay, let's make a point here. We agree that Hillary is a liar. You just said that on your air, did you not?
No, what I said is that Hillary Clinton, like all politicians, has lied, and just like Donald Trump has lied. That's what I said.
You said that Hillary Clinton is a liar, like all politicians, sir.
What I said is that she has lied on occasion. Undeniable.
She has lied on occasion, which means that she
Sir,
is
you're
a
out of
liar.
control. Take your meds, sir. This is not a screaming show. This is a show for conversation.
Sir, I'm trying to make a point here. But, of course, you will really quickly rebuff me because you don't want me to make the point. Because you, like other liberals, want Clinton to win because you don't want the facts. You want to have the same old system, the same old corruption, the same old baloney. We, the people that have any intelligence, other than you, are tired of the same old corrupt politicians like Hillary.
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Thank you, Sam. Appreciate the phone call. Roger, do you think a majority of Americans will exercise tomorrow their opinion that shares Sam and your point of view that Donald Trump will be the next president?
I can't. It's very hard to decipher through all the yelling. But let's just put this gentleman down as undecided, shall we?
Roger, I have to ask you this question. There is a group that you founded, which was an anti-Hillary group called Citizens United, Not Timid, an organization that is, shall we say, anti-Hillary Clinton. And folks are saying if you read between the lines of that acronym, it comes out to a very ugly word. Now, Stop the Steal, some folks are saying is an anti-Semitic dog whistle because it stands for SS. Yes or no, Roger Stone?
Totally false. First of all, you have a filthy mind. So Citizens United, Not Timid had no acronym other than in your mind. And to say that Stop
I didn't
the
say
Steal,
that's what
which
I
is
said. I
not
said that's what's
SS,
been
but
reported.
STS, that is one hell of a stretch. Look, I simply want to conduct a scientifically based, methodologically sound exit poll in certain key precincts in about 8 states to then turn around and compare those results with the actual machine results in those precincts. I'm not talking about even taking a large enough sample of precincts to predict the overall outcome of the election, because that is not my goal. I'm merely trying to test the integrity of the machines in certain counties. It's that simple. And no voter, it's voluntary. No voter should find this offensive. We're not filming anybody. We're not even keeping your name. This is essentially anonymous.
Roger, in 15 seconds, what's next for Roger Stone after this presidential campaign? Will we see you working on another campaign or on a ballot in the future?
I think you'll see me working on a book about this campaign because it has been one of the most incredible experiences that I have had in American politics. So I'm going to go back to being a New York Times bestselling author. However, on November 22nd, at the Books and Books store in Coral Gables, I will be debating Gerald Posner on the question, who killed John F. Kennedy? That, of course, will be the 55th anniversary of Kennedy's assassination. Posner is the author of the probably the standard text defending the Warren Commission. Case closed.
And also a South Florida resident. Hey, Roger, I will definitely be there. That's a pet subject of interest of mine. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you next week to break down election 2016. Roger Stone, everybody, back with more of your phone calls after this.